Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for another one of our mass making sessions, and we are technically up to like week number 201, would you believe? But I did mention in the last, I think maybe even the last couple of videos, that I had something kind of a bit different to, slot in between. Because we're going to do a third rerun of the mass making sessions. But I thought what would be rather nice is if we have like a little extension to the mass making sessions. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of add in 10 weeks worth of different makes, different things that we haven't made before. And then we'll start rerunning again, you know, back to week 1 again. So I'm not going to continue with the numbering because I think it's rather nice that we've got the round number of, 100, 200, 300. So what we're going to do, we're going to have mass making extra time, we're going to call these. So we're going to have mass making extra time weeks 1 to 10. So yeah, we're kind of technically week 1 of the extra time, week 201 of the mass making. So what are we going to make? Right, so what we are going to make, I've been playing around. Now I have got a few things in my like notes file that we're going to make over the coming weeks. But what I thought we could get started with this week is just making some very tall pocket books. Now these are very similar to something that we have made before, but we have made kind of what's the word, like landscape versions. Today what we're going to do is make like portrait versions. So if you're wanting to make along, what are you going to need? I have brought along with me a bunch of different digitals. Now I know I say this all the time, I have brought along digitals because that's what I have most of these days. If you have scrapbook paper, by all means bring scrapbook paper. If you like to use sheet music or something, bring that along. That's all fine. Now the only caveat that I would say is that our finished article is going to be made from a rectangular page. So whatever it is that you've brought along, so if it's a 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, you're going to want to cut, like say maybe 4 inches off, so it's like 8 by 12, just so that you've got the like not the proportions, but the shape right to make these. You're going to need rectangles rather than squares. Now mine are printed on A4 page, so again that's what we have over here in the UK, which is similar to your US letter if you are in the US. And I mean, I'm assuming that in Europe I think you probably use A4 like we do. So that's what we're going to be making from. But what I am going to do is I'm going to make 2 different sizes. So I'm going to make some using just these A4 pages, and then we're going to make some smaller ones using like half an A4 page, if that makes sense. So got those. Now mine is printed on 120 GSM. Okay, so standard copy paper is about 70 to 80. This is 120. So yeah, I mean, I would kind of recommend that type of thickness, but of course, if you're using scrapbook paper, you might not have so much choice and it may well be thicker. So, and I'm sure that would work absolutely fine. So I've got a whole bunch of different ones here. And then what I've also got is I've just got a few sheets of plain, which I might add in as center pages, and you will see, what I'm talking about once we've actually made a few of these. So you could add extra pages, not essential. So you may want to have those. You are then going to use some glue, or need some glue. I've got here, this is my Anita's tacky glue, but it's in one of those Sugar Bell icing bottles, just to get it, make it nice and easy to get it out. And then I've got my glue spreader. Mine is all wonky because I melted it against my hot glue gun the other day. So yeah, please ignore that. And then you may want to have things like your, distress ink and things. Up to you really how you want to finish these off. I will of course decorate one up at the end just to kind of demonstrate, but on the whole I tend to leave these undecorated so that when I come to use them, I decorate them then. So let's get making one. Okay, so I've drunk my tea and got that off the desk, so that's one less thing now laying around. Right, okay, so let's get started and have a look at these. Now I'm going to use this is my William Morris collection of papers. And as you can see, I have got my ephemera pieces printed on the back. It's not going to be a problem because we're going to be covering up the back anyway. So, it's all fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my rectangle and I'm going to just place it, you know, portrait kind of facing me. And then all I'm going to do is fold my corners in. Whoops. Like that. Okay. Now, you may want to have a bone folder. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. If you haven't got a bone folder, you know, you could use your scissor handles. I will probably just be using my scissor handles. Well, if I can find my scissors, hold on. Sorry, not a good start, is it? Yeah, scissors. So I forgot to mention scissors, forgot to mention a bone folder. I do apologise. And of course, if you like to, when you cut your pieces in half to make smaller ones, if you want to use a scoreboard, you know, or a paper trimmer, then, you know, by all means you could use that. Now, then all you're doing is folding your flap across, kind of like at the fold line, if that, you know, the edge of your triangle kind of pieces, like that. Okay. Now then what you want to do is line your inner piece. Now, of course, this is all optional. You don't have to line your inner pieces, but I think that would look quite nice. And of course, you know, in my particular case, I've got my my bits of ephemera in there, which of course do not look great. So yeah, for me, I've got to really line it. So let's just find a paper that we think might look quite nice. Oh my goodness. What do we think to this? Now, this is my butterfly collection papers. Yeah, should we use those? So I think probably the easiest thing to do is to actually line this first before folding at all. So all I'm going to do is take my glue. I'm going to glue my triangles down here. Okay. Oops, sorry, just burnt my fingernail on my hot glue gun, which is on to the side of my desk. So like that, and then like this. Okie dokie. Okay, get my tissue, wipe this all out. Okay, and then I'm going to just go right around the, you know, the back page or the back section with my glue, so all around the edge like that, and then of course across the, you know, the bottom, then just all over. But probably, you know, you might want to focus on your where the crease is going to be. Okay, like that. And then just take your paper that you're going to use as your liner and place that obviously into there. Take your glue spreader, spread your glue out nicely. I mean, the glue spreading, you know, it's just going to give you a nice finish and give it sort of a wrinkle-free finish. Okay, now then take your paper, turn it over and trim around. Now, personally, this for me is the easiest way to do things like this. You know, I don't get on brilliantly with sort of measuring it and cutting it to size and then sticking it on or anything. If I do things like that, I'm likely to, you know, mismeasure. It's not going to be the right size and all of that kind of stuff. So for me, I definitely find it easiest to just glue it down and then cut around it then. You know, because obviously that's how you're going to get it completely accurate, isn't it? So like that, okay? And then you're going to take your piece and you're going to fold it. Now, we are going to fold it in. Actually, I'm thinking fold it in this way, just at first, and then we're probably going to turn it in the other way. But these are quite, you know, flexible, so you could have them either way, really. So, you know, up to you whether you have your pockets on the inside or the outside. But that's your pocketbook then. So squish that down like that. Okie dokie. And then, oops, that's even sticking down already, just from the little bits of glue that were seeping out. You're going to just go down here with some glue. And then just stick that down like that. Like that. Okay. There we go. Oops. Now I have obviously not done mine very accurately, because as you can probably see, I've now got one side, you know, longer than the other. So I'm just going to move it over slightly. Like that. And just, yeah, refold it. So, I mean, they're quite forgiving, aren't they? Like that. Okay, and there you've got your lovely double pockets there in the middle. And then obviously your front here that you can decorate. You can decorate the back if you wish to, and you could decorate the insides. And then of course what you can do is, why I have bought the plainer papers along with me as well, is you could always put some pages in there as well. So let me just take this. These are food coloured papers, you know, in these pretty shades of pinks and blues. So let's just see. Yep. Let's just fold that in like that. Okay. And then, yep. Put that down there. Trim that down. There we go. And obviously, you know, you could put plenty of pages in there, you know, more pages in there. I've just put a couple in at the moment, but, or, you know, one sheet of paper, i.e. 2 pages or 4 sides. But, you know, you could put in more pages, you know, if you wanted. You could add extras. But aren't they so cute? I mean, they're a variation on a theme because, like I say, we have made very similar, but they were, you know, yeah, shorter, stumpier type pockets. I think these are rather nice as a little different piece to put into your journals. You know, and yeah, just something a bit different. So obviously you could staple your pages in or you can sew them in. So I'm just going to leave mine and then I'll attach my pages probably with the sewing machine after the mass making session. Of course, for a variation, you could also round the corners and things like that. So lots of different things that you could do with those little booklets. So I'm going to just run you through one more. I mean, obviously they're not, you know, they're not anything complicated or anything like that. But, you know, we'll just do one more just to give you the, you know, the idea really. So this is from my Great I think it's from the Great Expectations. I've got a brain fog now and I can't remember for sure whether it is the Great Expectations or whether it is the oh gosh, what's it called even? The King's Park. I actually can't remember, so I do apologise for that. I've just got literally a blank. Just, yeah, just a complete blank. So again, fold that up there and then you've got your, you know, your outsides. So that's all there is to that. And then let's just find something pretty to put on the inside. So maybe even mix this with our Beautiful Birds collection papers. Ooh. Ooh, I'm not sure now. Yeah, maybe those. Yeah, maybe the Beautiful Birds. So let's just put those to one side. Okay, let me just check which way round I want this, because we're going to be cutting off quite a bit of this, so I just need to kind of bear that in mind. So that's fine. So again, just want to glue your triangles down like this. Okie dokie. Like that. Glue those down. Okay, I'll just mop up the excess glue. and from here. And then we're just going to go in here with more glue on the inside, like that. Okie dokie. And again, you know, all over, and then just as we did on the last one, kind of focus a little bit more where your crease is going to be. I mean, I like to do that just because I think otherwise sometimes you get quite a bumpy effect going on. So, you know, I think that's quite good, you know, good practice generally to add a bit of extra glue where you're going to have a crease. So again, use your glue spreader. Oops. Oh dear, I've mucked this one up. Let me see if I can slide this across. No, it's not now moving. Oh, that's just awful, isn't it? Right. So try not to obviously muck it up like I have, but I'm sure it's all fine. I'm sure it's not going to be too much of a problem. And then I'm just going to turn it over, cut it down from the reverse. I mean, I absolutely love a project like this, you know, where you can mix and match your papers and put different papers together. I do think that's really, really fun to do. So, you know, for me, I think that's quite a yeah, nice thing about these types of pockets. Because, I mean, some pockets, you know, you're just using one paper, aren't you? Or, you know, maybe you don't see the inside of the paper or something like that. But things like this, I think it's quite fun because you can really play around and put things together that perhaps you wouldn't have even expected to put together. So it's, you know, it's really fun, isn't it? So this one, right, I'm going to just fold it straight in here. So just being a bit careful, obviously, because I have already sort of misjudged my cutting, so I'm feeling like I'm obviously not going to be doing a great job today. Oh, sometimes we just get those days, don't we? Again, squish it down with your bone folder or your, you know, scissor handles in my case. I mean, this is where you can probably see I've got a bit of a crease going on here. That's where I think folding it in the other way and then in was slightly, you know, slightly helpful. But anyway, it's not a big deal. It's all going to be fine. So again, pop some glue down your crease lines. Whoa, like that. Okay. And then just smoosh that down like that. Okay. Like that. Okay. And then just, yeah, fold it over like that. Now, obviously, if like me, you've got this, you know, issue on the edge where you've not quite lined it up, you can either go around now and trim, you know, trim it all down. I mean, I've not got a very straight edge here, so I can just trim that down a bit there. Or you can just ink it up, to be honest, and the inking will do just as much, or, you know, just as good a job probably as the cutting. Actually, judging by my shoddy cutting today, it's probably going to do a better job. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Right. Not doing a good job here at all, but right. I've made quite a mess of that. So let's just demonstrate with the ink how forgiving the project will be once it's inked. So we just go round with our ink here and then go round obviously on the, you know, the inside edges. I mean, for me on this one, I don't really need to go around the edge of the outside because of course it's that brown paper. So, you know, that's going to be not showing up brilliantly. But just like that. And then actually I'll just do a little bit here. Just got a tiny bit here that just needs trimming off. There we go. So, you know, it's kind of disguised it, hasn't it? And it looks pretty, you know, pretty fine now. Like I say, you could then obviously round your corners or anything if you wanted, but I just think they're really nice, you know, something a bit different to have a taller sort of pocket. So again, then you could take a sheet of paper, you know, coffee dyed paper, or, you know, plain paper if you don't mind white paper in your pieces. And then just take that. For me, this is just the easiest way to cut my paper down to size. You know, just fold it sort of where you want it and then just cut using the fold as a bit of a guide. Like that. And that's your inner pages. And like I say, I mean, I've only put one page in there, but of course you could, you know, you could do extra pages. You don't have to only have one. Just take that down slightly. Across there. Okay, like that, and like that. So they're really nice, aren't they? So yeah, we're just going to kind of assembly line some this, you know, now. So for those people who aren't familiar with a mass making, you know, or with our mass making sessions, what we do in the assembly line, you know, style making, I just tend to do like all the same processes at the same time. So we'll do like all the folding of the triangles, all the, you know, lining of the insides, all the cutting, all the gluing and the folding. So, you know, all in one sort of stage, and it just really speeds up the process. So what I tend to do is I tend to try and, or, you know, I mean, obviously I've only made these today, but what I'm going to tend to do is make the outsides from a plainer sheet. So I'm just going to pick some of the plainer sheets here. And the reason for that is obviously, you know, so as it doesn't really matter which way up they're going to be, if that makes sense. So, you know, because obviously if it was this folded in, your birds are going to be, you know, sideways on. So you might want to just kind of bear that in mind. But that being said, I did say that I'm going to try and do a couple of, you know, smaller size ones. So, you know, let's try and do like a couple of smaller size ones as well. So perhaps I'll take this, which is the bird's paper, and I will cut it in half so as I've got my rectangles to work with. So I'm just going to do that with a couple of sheets that I think might be quite nice to use for this. So yeah, perhaps we'll use this. So, and I will tell you which papers I'm using, because I know that, you know, lots of you do like to know which papers I'm using. So yeah, please don't think that I've forgotten. I will tell you once we get sort of relaxing into this a bit more and, you know, making them. So let's just have a look, see whether I want to do any others. Yeah, I mean, we could even do this one, to be honest. So let's just take that one down like that. Right, okay. So let's do some mass making of these. So first of all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all my sheets that I've said that I'm going to make smaller ones, and I'm just going to cut those down so as I've got my, you know, smaller rectangles. So again, I like to just use the fold as my guide for where to cut that. Sometimes I do tear it, but obviously then you're going to have a furry edge, you know, instead of a smooth edge, which I don't mind that, but you know, it might look weird having one smooth edge and one furry edge. So in that case, I'd prefer to, you know, have two smooth edges, if that makes sense. So just cut this down like that. Okay, so let's just relax and have a nice time. So these papers are from my birds collection papers. This is from my butterfly collection papers, and this is from my Victorian collection papers. And I can't remember, I'm afraid, whether it's Victorian ephemera or it might be Victorian scrapbook pieces. I think it might be Victorian scrapbook. So yeah, that's what these are from. So I've got my smaller pieces now. So I'm just going to put the other pieces to one side, because I obviously don't need to be using all of these. Okay. Right, now the only other thing that I will say is obviously these are going to be directional papers, i.e., you know, when they're folded in, they're going to actually have a direction. So of course, if I fold it in this way, my piece is going to be up the wrong way, if that makes sense. So what you want to do is make sure you're doing your pieces the right way up when they're going to be folded into sort of a more booklet style format. Okay, so like that for my triangles. Okay, same with this one. Again, it's going to be a directional piece, so I need to go here. So basically, if you're doing a directional paper, what you need to do is fold the bottom section of your paper is going to be your triangles, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of the way to remember it. So, oh, I nearly did it at the top. Even as I was saying it, I then nearly did it completely the opposite way to what I was just saying. So yeah, it's a case of do as I say, not as I do, obviously. Okay, right. So we've squished our triangles in. Looking good. So let's take some others. So this is from my damask papers. So we're just going to again fold our triangles here at the bottom like that. And this one. Now you can probably see I've even got a little space in between some of these triangles, you know, there. It doesn't matter. That's all fine. You don't even have to have your triangles, you know, snug up against each other. You can have a little space. That's not going to be a problem. You know, just play around and, you know, just have fun with these. So this is from my Junk Journal Basics collection. Junk Journal Basics Set 2 collection of papers. So yeah. So I hope everybody is having a good day. If you watch my mass makings, you'll know that I generally film these at the beginning of the week. So for me, this is Monday morning. So my week's literally just started. So ready to go up for you guys on the Tuesday. This is the Rich Damask papers. So you guys are obviously now on the Tuesday. So I hope that your week is kind of, you know, kind of panning out well so far. Sometimes you can just tell how the rest of your week's going to go, can't you, by, you know, the first couple of days. Yeah, get a taste for how your whole week's going to then go. So yeah, I really hope that you guys have had a good start. So what have I been up to? Well, I have had such a busy week. Now, I do not generally have busy weeks at all. Well, I have busy work weeks. I don't generally have busy socialising weeks. Yep, I'm just not that exciting, I guess. But yeah, I've had very, very busy socialising week this week. So that was that. I think from the Great Expectations kit. So, and this one here is from the Claridge's kit. Now, just want to work out which way up I would like this one to be. Yeah, probably this way actually. So yeah, I have been very busy this week, which is unlike me, like from a socialising point of view. So what have I been doing? Well, I went out quite a bit last week in the evenings, which, wow, I mean, I never do that. But I'm trying to, you know, get myself out there a little bit and, yep, make a bit more of a social life for myself. So, yep, I've been doing that. And then on Friday, I went to Legoland. Now, Legoland is something we have here in the UK. Now, I don't know whether Legoland is everywhere. You know, whether other countries have Legolands or whether we just have it. I mean, I presume that other countries do have Lego. I know this sounds a really weird thing to say. You know, I'm sure you're all probably thinking, of course they have Lego. But until you go to say something, sometimes you just, you know, you don't know whether they do or not. So, yeah, I don't know whether countries do have Lego, but I'm assuming that they do. Who knows? So, yeah, went to Legoland. For, I'm going to just do one actually in, I might have to do a couple actually in these lace collection papers as well, just because when I dug them out I thought, these are going to look so pretty, so I might take these in half and do smaller ones. Yeah, so on Friday it was my sister's son's birthday. So we went to Legoland, and I took my daughter and my sister took her son. So, yep, we went to Legoland. Now, we were lucky enough to get some vouchers. It's so incredibly expensive. I hadn't been there for, I think, about 15 years. I worked it out. It was about 15 years since I'd been there. And, oh, my goodness, it's just so expensive now. The standard price for your entrance is £80, would you believe? £80. And that's the same for adults and children. Oh my goodness. That's such a lot of money, isn't it? And yeah, we were lucky enough to be able to get some vouchers, you know, and so we were able to kind of like get some money off of our tickets. And also if you book them online, so this is really worth bearing in mind if you're going anywhere like that. If you put them online, you were able to get them half price. So we already got them for £40 instead of 80. And then we were able to, you know, get some vouchers from like our Tesco vouchers. But, oh my goodness, if you just rocked up and, you know, thought, oh, let's just have a day out at Legoland. These are from the Pale Lace collection papers, by the way, in the blues and greens. If you just thought, let's just rock up and have a day out at Legoland, oh my goodness, what an expensive day out that would be. So yeah, thankfully we did not do that, but yeah, you would have honestly found that very, 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 very expensive. Oh, I don't know. I was thinking I was going to use this with the lace, but you know, I'm loving it with this. So I'm going to put these to one side. So I'm just picking now the papers that I'm going to put with these, and that was my Regency collection papers. Maybe I will use this. Oh my goodness, isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, so I'm going to use that one for that. Getting waylaid here, picking my papers to put with one another. They all look very, very yummy, don't they? Have to bear in mind. Yeah, I think that's quite nice actually. So yeah, let's do that. And that's the birds collection papers. Yeah, if you just thought you would rock up and have a day out there, oh my goodness, it would cost you such a lot of money. So yeah, I mean, everything has just got so expensive, and I know that, you know, I moan about this frequently, but it's just getting kind of out of hand, really, I think, you know, to the point that, I mean, people are just not going to be able to do anything. I mean, already, like I say, I mean, I've not done a day out like that for years and years. Perhaps we'll have that. So that's from the, I think that's from the Great Expectations kit as well, if I'm right in remembering. Yeah, I mean, we haven't really done a day out like that for years, but, you know, it's coming to the point where even if you wanted to, you kind of couldn't, because things have just got so uncontrollably expensive. And, you know, I know that obviously that's, you know, that's generally the theme here in the UK at the moment, is obviously, you know, we are having a bit of a cost of living sort of crisis. But, you know, it's so sad, because I just think, this is from the Melrose Garden kit. You know, so many people are now missing out, and so many children are missing out. You know, they're not kind of getting to experience things that sort of, you know, kids years ago did. I mean, my daughter is 9, so she's kind of considerably younger than, you know, her brothers. And, you know, I'm not saying things were really cheap years ago, but they were definitely cheaper. So, yeah, I mean, they definitely got to experience things more than she did. I mean, obviously it was different because I was, of course, married then. So it was a, you know, it was a different situation. But I think generally, you know, the cost of things has gone up so much that it is becoming sort of, yeah, prohibitive really to actually even being able to go out and do things now, which, you know, that's just really a shame, because I just think the only people really who are going to miss out are, you know, going to be kids, aren't they? Because, I mean, as adults, we take it on the chin that we have to forego things. But, I mean, kids don't really, you know, they don't really get that, do they? And they just, you know, they're going to just be missing out where, I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but, yeah, it's a shame for them that they're going to be missing out, isn't it? Just deciding which one to put this with. So this is my French collection papers. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. And Then I've just got these 3, so I don't know what to use for these. Now, I mean, that's quite nice with that, to be honest. This is my Shabby Chic collection papers. I really want to be adventurous and mix these up a little bit. You know, putting perhaps things together that I wouldn't have necessarily thought to put together. I mean, that's the lace collection. Pale ones again, and I'm so sorry I can't remember which ones these are from. But it doesn't feel like that's such a gamble to put that with that. Anyway, I went off at a tangent there moaning. So yeah, let's come back to the story. So anyway, we did go, and yeah, we had a nice time. So yeah, that was pretty good on Friday. Shall I mix this with the brown butterflies? Yeah, perhaps I'll do that. So yeah, that was on Friday. And then on Saturday, oh my goodness, I was so lucky. So my son and his friend Kai, they were so generous. They took me to London and we went to watch Phantom of the Opera. So they had planned this a while back, and, you know, obviously I was aware, that we were going. It wasn't a surprise or anything, but yeah, it had been booked for some time. So, oh my goodness, how lovely. And we had such a wonderful day. I'm just checking that I definitely want to use that and not something else. We had such a wonderful day, and yeah, the weather was kind of really just lovely. The weather was also lovely when we went to Legoland, actually. I must just quickly say that. And yeah, we just had such a fantastic day. Now, unfortunately, the trains were striking. Oh, I'm just wondering whether I can mix that in. Do we think that's a weird combo? I'm not brilliant at mixing things, it's got to be said. And I do always play it a bit safe, but I feel sometimes like I have to, because otherwise I'm going to be playing it, you know, not safe, and then just not really like what I've made. So yeah, sometimes playing it safe is the way to go. Right, so I'm going to do all my gluing now, and then I'll do all the cutting of the pieces, and then all the final folds, and then we'll decorate them. So yeah, we went to see Phantom of the Opera, and oh my goodness, we had such a brilliant day. So the trains were striking. So my lovely son, who, you know, he just passed his driving test literally the week before. So he passed his driving test on the Sunday, and then it was Saturday. So 6 days later, he drove us all to London. Now, obviously I said, you know, I'm happy to drive, you know, I can drive, but he wanted to drive. So we went in his car. I am insured in his car. So if he'd have, you know, got fed up with driving or not wanted to drive or whatever, of course, then I could have, you know, taken over. But no, he wanted to drive. So yeah, I think he just, you know, he wanted to feel sort of proud and, you know, to drive. So yeah, I mean, I can't lie, I'm not really that keen on driving. So I was kind of pleased. But of course, you know, I would have driven. London is around about 80 miles from where we live. So, you know, it's not too far. But of course, the traffic is very, very bad. So although it's not that many miles away, the journey time, I think it was about 2 hours, because you do get stuck in such a huge amount of traffic. So, yeah. Anyway, and yeah, we went to see Phantom of the Opera. Now, I have seen that about 20 years ago. So I think I saw it when I was pregnant with my first son. And yeah, like, loved it. I mean, it's so fantastic. I assume that Phantom of the Opera plays on Broadway as well. I know it's been in the West End for like years and years and years. I mean, I can remember as a child a couple of those songs being in the charts. So yeah, I don't know whether that was kind of like when it first came out at the theatre, or whether it had been on at the theatre for a while by then, and I'm not sure, to be honest. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. So you know, just as good watching it second time around to first time around. So we had such a lovely time. And then that theatre is, it's at Her Majesty's Theatre, and that's just around the corner from Piccadilly Circus. So we then kind of like, you know, we went and had a pizza for dinner. I mean, I love pizza. So yeah, we had a pizza for dinner. And then we just kind of had some pictures, Piccadilly Circus, and then we came back home. So yeah, we had such a fantastic day, and I felt so spoiled. You know, just what a lovely thing to be treated to. So yeah, I mean, I would say if they're watching this video, thank you, but of course, they're not really likely to be watching my video. But yeah, we had such a fantastic day. Then on Sunday, I took my daughter and my sister also, you know, we met her and her son, and we just took the dogs for a walk. So that was my dog and my sister's dogs. So yeah, we just took the dogs for a walk, and we went to a lovely place with, they are very old yew trees, and it's, you know, it's just a few miles from where we live. So yeah, not too far to go or anything. So obviously we drove, you know, drove to the walk and then did the walk. But yeah, there's some very old yew trees, and yeah, the kids just kind of climbed the yew trees, you know. They had like a really lovely time doing that. So that was really nice. And the weather's been so good. Honestly, I don't know what's going on, but we've had like this really mixed bag lately. I think it was the week before last, I think it must have been. And I'm sure that last week I was saying about how much rain we'd had. We'd like had, oh, just endless amounts of rain. And now suddenly, you know, last week it was kind of like, not a heat wave, that would be real exaggeration, but very spring-like, very nice weather. And then, yeah, the whole weekend, beautiful. Today it's, yeah, looking a little bit overcast, but yeah, I'm sure it will be fine. I think it is supposed to be dry and things today, so I'm sure not, you know, not too bad. Yeah, it's very weird. And I mean, allegedly we're heading for a heat wave again. Don't know how true that is, you know, but yeah, that's what I've heard, is we're heading for a heat wave. So who knows, but it's very weird, very weird weather that we've been having. Okay. Let's just put that out. Oh, Bo, my darling doggy, she is to the side of my desk, and yeah, she's at the moment, she's kind of digging in her bed for something. So yeah, I don't know what she's digging for, but she's, yeah, thinking she's buried something in her bed. I know I've said this before, but yeah, she kind of buries things in like the corners of her bed. And she's got a bed in the kitchen, and then she's got her bed here, you know, to the side of my desk. And the one in the kitchen is kind of like her favourite bed, you know. This one's very cheap and cheerful, and actually must be not all that comfortable, I'm sure. But yeah, the one in the kitchen is nicer. And she just buries like stones and stuff in it. So yeah, it's just the weirdest thing. But she knows they're there because, you know, if ever she stayed somewhere else, so like when we had to move out of our house for that week, she obviously came with me. And so obviously I had to take her bed. And when we got to where we were staying, you know, and I took her bed in, she straight away dug around to find her stones. You know, she straight away was like, oh, where's my stones? Where's my stones? So yeah, she definitely knows she's doing it, and she definitely kind of like remembers, oh, where's my stones? Where's my stones? So yeah, it's so cute. Just love her so much. Love her so much. Right. Now I must keep my eye on the time, so I'll just quickly do this one, and then I'm just going to see what the time is. And I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who did an order in my junk journal restock last week. So yeah, thank you so much. I mean, hopefully I'll be making some things this week, and I will try and do another restock you know, yeah, probably towards the end of the week. So do keep your eyes out on my shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk website. I am currently working on, well, I'm currently still trying to finish my autumn junk journal that I have been making. I may or may not do a couple more videos with it. Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to do a couple more videos today with it, because I've got something that I think might be quite helpful and, you know, quite nice to do, but whether or not that will pan out, I don't know. And I'm also currently working on my Halloween kit for this year. So I don't know, I talked about this before, but it's really hard once you've made things a few times. You know, I've done a few Halloween kits now. It really is very, very hard to, you know, come up with a new idea and think of something, you know, something new and something different again for Halloween again. But yeah, so I'm doing that. Now I'm just deciding which one do I want to decorate at the end of this. I'm thinking maybe this one, because I love these papers together. So let's just quickly, oops, quickly do this. So yeah, anyway, so I have been working on the Halloween kit, and yeah, I mean, I've got quite a bit left to do, so it probably will be, well, I'm hoping next week it will be out next week. But oh, I'm really loving it so far. Yeah, really, really love it. Last year, if you watch my channel, you may recall that I had that very, very spooky one with the haunted dolls and all of that kind of gubbins. Yeah, I had such a lovely time working with that. And I say this every year, but honestly, I mean, I'm not really kind of like a big Halloween-y person, you know, and yeah, I mean, it's quite out of my comfort zone, I think, you know, that kind of theme. But oh my goodness, every year that I've done a Halloween journal, I have loved doing it so much, because it's been so different and, you know, such a kind of different experience. So yeah, this one is, yeah, it's a very different kit to last year, but hopefully, you know, still lovely. And I do try my best to create them so that they could overlap and tie in with previous year's kits. So I mean, hopefully the colours that I've used, sometimes I might use you know, similar background pages or something like that, or similar colours, so that if you know, had bought previous years, you could still use, you know, if you'd kind of got an overspill of printing or something like that, you would hopefully be able to, you know, use some of those bits with the new kit. So hopefully that would be the case with this one. I mean, obviously it's not finished yet, so I can't guarantee that's going to be the case, but I do try my best to, you know, have a bit of a sort of flow through and an overlap. So yeah, that's the theory. Right, let's cut this around like that. Okay. Honestly, someone just texted me this morning, or messaged me this morning and said, I think they said 84 days till Christmas. I mean, what on earth? 84 days till Christmas. Oh, I'm just like a scratch record here, because I know I say it so frequently, but how fast has this year gone? It's absolutely flown, hasn't it? Flown by. So yeah, I don't know what I think about that, but it's, yeah, not great, is it? How fast the time flies by. Right, I'm going to just try and fold this way and then fold it back on itself. So right, I'm already struggling a little bit with kind of wrinkly paper. Okay. Right. Oh gosh, this is not going well. Okay. Right. So squish that down. And then I'm just going to turn it back in on itself here, like that. Okay, so squish that down. Did I glue that down? No, not yet. Not yet. Right, so then just take my glue here. Oops, just spread that a bit because it was very gluey in one point. Okay. Right. Okay. There we go, like that. So how gorgeous is that, I must say. Oops, it's just gone slightly off. Right there. There we go. So as you can see, I mean, I have not obviously made a very good job of cutting this very equally. So what I'll do is I'm just going to cut it down here at the side, which will just level that off slightly, like that. And then, of course, I can just cut it at the top as well, which will just, you know, make it look a bit better and a bit tidier. And then, of course, what we didn't ever do with any of the others, so we'll just do it here. We could round the corners here, you know, just for a bit of a different look, really. Like that. Okay, let's ink this up. Don't these papers look gorgeous together? So this is my rich damask papers, and I've mixed it with the Regency collection. I will ink the back of this just in case it's more of a tuck-in rather than a pull-out piece. So yep, just go around those edges. Now I haven't coffee dyed these or anything, they're just, you know, naked, or, you know, just as they've printed. So yep. Okay, just go around there like that. Okay, and then just, you know, go along the bottom. I mean, you might want to do in the fold or anything, but, you know, it's up to you. And then I could just pop this in here and go across that middle line, just to sort of, you know, where the natural discoloration points would be, really. So there we go. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous do those papers look together. So let's just then quickly decorate this. So I have got this left. Now I'm just wondering whether we could have this. Oh, we could have this like on the outside. Perhaps we'll just tear this down so as we have a bit of, I mean, I do like torn edges, so, oh my goodness, come on. Oh, I'm making a horrible job of tearing this. So, yep, now wishing I hadn't torn this. Oh, well, that looks very scruffy, but never mind. And actually, it would have been better if I'd have torn it the other side. So, yeah, I've not made a very good job of that. Now, hold on, because I have got some other, I think, of the Regency papers that have got very similar but bigger images like that. So let me just have a look here. Hang on. Oh gosh, come on. Oh, I'm trying my best to eat a bit healthier. I know I did say this, I think, last week, but oh, it is hard, isn't it, to be good and eat healthily, especially, you know, because I'm trying to be a bit more sociable, and yeah, kind of being sociable doesn't necessarily go with healthy eating, does it? So it's not great. Oh, perhaps I didn't bring the other one. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, that's really annoying. Yeah, I thought I did have, unless I've used it on some of the others. Just double check. No. Oh gosh, well, that's really annoying. Okay, I wonder if we could just use some of this. Let's just take that down there. I don't know what this is going to look like, but yeah, let's just have a look. So let's just ink this up. Oh, and so I've cancelled my Netflix. So I've cancelled Netflix, you know, much to the kids' disgust. They were like, what? said, well, you know, sometimes find myself flicking through thinking there's just nothing to watch, you know. Anyway, cancelled Netflix, and I have subscribed instead to Apple TV. Now, Apple TV, it was less than half the price of the Netflix. So that was good. But the reason why I subscribed to that is because we keep having adverts for, it's called The Morning Show with Jenfer Aniston. So now I love Jenfer Aniston. I mean, not only is she obviously gorgeous, you know, to look at, but I mean, she's so watchable, isn't she? And yeah, I think most people probably quite like Jenfer Aniston, to be honest. So that's why I have done that. And yeah, I've watched, I think I'm like on episode 2. So I mean, it's seriously early days, like really early days. But I am quite enjoying it. Like I say, partly because she's just, you know, I love her in anything, to be honest. So yeah, really quite enjoying that. But Apple TV, I don't know. I mean, I only did that a couple of days ago, and obviously because I've been quite busy, I haven't really kind of like had time to investigate. But I'm not even sure whether it has movies really on there. So I'm wondering if I might regret that move and be going back to Netflix, you know, before I know it. I'm not sure, but who knows? We shall see. But yeah, the kids weren't impressed when I said, oh, I've cancelled Netflix. I mean, we have still got it for a few more weeks because of just the billing cycle that I was in. You know, I've got it for actually it turns out like pretty much a whole month still left to run. So, you know, I'm sure that's all fine. But yeah, we shall see what it's what Apple TV's like. But even if I just stick with it whilst I watch that series, and I think there's 3 seasons of that series, The Morning Show, so it's going to keep me going for a fair while. So yeah, I love having something to just watch and not having to flick through. Oh, and whilst we're on what to watch, so the highlight actually of my watching week, so in between my being social, my daughter and I also had binge watched straight from school when she came in. I think it was like last Monday. I said, oh, let's have, you know, girly time and watch this thing that lots of people had said to me about. And it was called, oh, let me get it right. I think it was called My Mum, Your Dad. Yeah, I'm sure it was called My Mum, Your Dad. Oh my goodness. It was so brilliant. Now, I'm not really kind of like one for loving reality TV very much. I kind of don't really generally like it very much very often. Oh my goodness, it was so brilliant. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. So for anyone who's not watched that, what it is basically now which looks nicer, that one or the B? Not sure actually. Quite like that one actually, I think. Although, well, I love it against the damask, not so much over there. Yeah, My Mum, Your Dad. So basically, kids have put their parents who are single onto this program to find love. So, you know, some single mums, some single dads on there to find love. And oh my goodness, it was so good. All of the people on there were lovely. I mean, there was only one person I wasn't so keen on who, you know, I don't want to be mean and say it just in case. I mean, not that that person's ever going to be watching this, obviously, but just in case ever somebody who knew that person was watching. I don't want to be horrible, but yeah. Everyone, I mean, even this one person who I wasn't so keen on, I didn't really mind him, to be honest, but yeah, I mean, he just wasn't my favourite. But everybody generally was lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely on there. All the men were absolutely lovely. You know, kind of again, and you're like, where are those men in real life? Come on, where are you? Yeah, they were just lovely. And all of the ladies were not only lovely, but absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Like very, very, very glamorous. So yeah, it was such a good program. I mean, to the point that like a couple of times it kind of brought tears to my eyes because people were like so, you know, being so romantic and so lovely. And I just thought, oh my goodness, what a gorgeous program. So yeah, that was really, really, really brilliant. So if you have not watched it, I would so recommend it. Yeah, really good. Now, I pulled that up on ITVX is what it's called. So I think that is basically what used to be like the ITV hub, but they've decided to go all trendy and modern and called themselves ITVX now. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that that just means it's the ITV player. Yeah, that was where I pulled it up, and wow, I just loved it. So yeah, definitely would recommend that. Absolutely brilliant, really brilliant. I mean, to the point I can't wait for the next season of it. You know, it was like so good. Absolutely brilliant. And to be honest, the amount of people who've said how good it was. So I mean, it clearly was brilliant, because you know, everyone's talking about it, and yeah, everyone obviously has loved it. So yeah, definitely I would recommend pulling that up if you have not seen it. And you know, I mean, if that's your type of thing. But like I say, I mean, reality TV generally not really my type of thing normally, but oh my goodness, it was so lovely. So yeah, definitely would recommend that. Right, now I'm just going to use a bit of this gold paint stick just to dab onto this wax seal. Yeah, it was lovely. And I've tried to Google to see whether some of those couples are still together. I've kind of mixed, you know, I don't know really whether they are or not. Yeah, first of all, I couldn't find anything. Then I kind of found something. So I don't know whether they are. But yeah, I think one of those couples are still together. So the couple I'm talking about. So if anyone watched it, they were called Roger and Jamie. Oh my goodness, I mean, they were probably everybody's favourite couple. They were just so lovely. I think they are still together. Right, I'm just having a look to see whether I've got my coloured book plates here, because one of those would look gorgeous on here. Now, have I got them? Sorry, I'm just looking behind me to see if I've got them here. It was quite nice because they were all kind of like, you know, older people. And, I mean, when I say older, you know, I mean, yeah, my sort of age group, which is, you know, what I like to think middle-aged, kind of in their 40s. So, well, they were in their 40s and 50s. So, yeah. I mean, obviously, to my kids, they'd probably think, oh, gosh, like old people, you know. But, I mean, for me, I thought, oh, middle-aged people. You know, because obviously we move the barrier, don't we? You know, when we were young, this sort of age would have seemed old, but now it's like, oh, they're just middle-aged. I can't find my coloured book plates, but ideally I would have put a coloured book plate on here because I think that would have looked absolutely gorgeous. I don't know whether to put this on here or not. If I do, I'm wondering whether I might have maybe even just some string as a little wraparound closure or something like that. Yeah, let's do that. So, right, let's just put the glue this down. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure that, you know, my kids would have just thought, oh, Mum, they're just old people. But yeah, they were kind of middle-aged-y. So, I mean, I suppose it was a bit like, you know, Love Island. Not that I've ever watched Love Island, but you know how everyone talks about that, you know, the young people. I'm assuming it was kind of like Love Island, but for, you know, for middle-aged people. So, and nobody was, you know, behaving like they do on Love Island. Not that I know, because I haven't watched it, but I mean, I have heard obviously lots of people talking about stuff that goes on in there. So yeah, I mean, I know that young people absolutely love it. I mean, not just young people. I think some older people love Love Island as well. But yeah, I've never watched it. But anyway, it was the Love Island for oldies. And it was filmed really close to where I live. So that was kind of like a double excitement. So, yeah, it was actually filmed kind of just, well, about, I don't know, 10 miles away from where I live. So yeah, very exciting. You know, it's always fun when you kind of like live near to somewhere, isn't it? Now, can you see here what I've got is a sort of bump. So I'm just going to like put some glue under here to just firm that up a bit. Okay, like that. Okay, so that can obviously just wrap around there. I mean, like I say, if I had a coloured book plate, I think that would have just finished this off beautifully, but I don't have. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of finish it off like that. Maybe we could put some bling in there. Let me just see if I've got some bling here laying around. Yep. I'll just get some of my black bling. Yeah, let's just have some bling up there. Oh my goodness. Right, let's just cut that down a bit. Yeah, I don't know whether that program has come over from other countries. You know, like the TV stations, you know, they buy, don't they, from other, you know, other networks in other countries. Oh gosh, I don't think I've done this since I've had these nails on. Right, I may well burn my fingers here. Fingers crossed I don't. There we go. Yeah, let me know. Is that program anywhere else in the world? Because, oh my goodness, loved it so much. Just left you with a like lovely glow. A glow in your heart, you know, just thinking, oh my goodness, that's so cute. Oh, I have got these as well. Oh, now thinking wish I'd used one of these instead of the wax seal. Anyway, it's, yeah, it's all fine. So that's our little pockets. So they are tall pocket books for your junk journals. So you've got a pocket here and a pocket here, and like we said, you could always put extra pages in so it's a proper, you know, proper booklet kind of thing. But I just love them, to be honest. I think they're really, really nice, and just a bit of a different take, because like I say, we have, you know, made similar things to this before, but this I thought was just a little bit different, being a tall one. So yeah, I hope you like them. Obviously I have got lots here to finish off. I've run out of time. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4 here to finish, and then I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the 2 that we made in the first place, 10, 11. Wow, we made 11. So yeah, I mean, obviously they're not completed. I have got quite a bit of finishing off to do, but we sort of made 11. So yeah, quite quick and easy, I think. So hope you have fun if you decide to make some. And obviously next week we will have episode 2 of the Mass Makes Extra Time. And that's just going to be a 10-week slot. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have fun, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.